Alright, it took me 328 days, but I finally reached Grandmaster and Backpack Battles. Now, technically, I did it during the demo, but that was a very different game. The demo was very unbalanced. I pretty much abused one single strategy, and there were not that many items in the game, so you could kind of just, like, do the same run over and over and achieve Grandmaster. But the game is much more balanced these days. Plus, there's a lot more skill involved. There's a lot more items that you kind of have to build your runs around, and I think overall it's just a much better game. So I'm very happy to finally achieve this. It did it on Ranger, and there's a few different builds I went for. This one kind of shows off the Ivy build. I also used the Lifebender Magistaff or Critwood Staff with the large sword build, and then sometimes I would use like a Thorn Whip plus Beastmaster build. I'll kind of go through some of the runs at the end that I used to actually get to Grandmaster. But I was very fortunate because I was kind of stuck in like low master for quite a while, and then suddenly, I don't know if they changed like the matchmaking or something, but was just able to shoot up all the way to Grandmaster. Maybe I just got a really lucky winning streak. But since this is unranked, it's maybe not a great like indicator for the strength of the opponents, because you can face people who are probably like in bronze and stuff, so you can kind of get away with anyone. But I still wanted to give like a general idea. I got early Shell Totem on turn 1. I found that's pretty decent for just scaling and living early on. I'm also just using the Vine Weaver basket. I don't think the crit basket is very good. Sometimes you can go for like a Hero Longsword plus a bunch of bows plus like Mega Clover. But I found that you can die pretty easily in the early game, and then also like when you first get your subclass, you have to get to 15 luck, which takes a whole bunch of turns, and you can kind of die before you get to that 15 mark, so it can be kind of annoying. So I decided to kind of give up on the strat and just go for this one. It gives a whole bunch of sales on rounds 1 and 10, and also increases your healing. So, I mean, I'm kind of left up to just like RNG of what's on sale on turn 1, but usually you can find something to kind of build your build around. And also, yeah, got Claws of Attack, decent early damage, and it doesn't really cost a lot of stamina, so you can have kind of like 3 weapons or 2 weapons and a Shell Totem here. Got an early life pot, which is great. Just go ahead and get that strong life pot. If you can get another one, that's definitely a helpful tool in just winning these early rounds. And also amulets. I did not realize how good amulets are, but they are something to build your run around. You just kind of buy them when you see them for the most part in the early game. Some of them are really good at helping you win the early rounds, like the Amulet of Wild or like the Amulet of Darkness. And then some of them can be like absolutely broken in the later game, especially if you start getting multiple of the same one. And so yeah, when you go for Poison Ivy, you want to get at least 2 stones, usually 4 stones if you can get like 2 of the strong stone skin pots or potions. And then those give you temporary spikes, and when you have Ivy, whenever you gain spikes, it inflicts poison. And actually, the main damage is usually through poison. I also go for Poison Spear, which has been buffed a lot recently, and that deals a ton of damage in the mid game. So it usually will help you win those rounds, and also it deals poison, so you can get poison inflicted on your enemy even quicker. And yeah, that ends up being pretty helpful. So yeah, I got it was turn 6 there, so those are your best odds to find rare items. It's no longer guaranteed that you're going to find what you want, but you want to increase your odds as much as possible. So I sold a banana just to roll 2 times. It's definitely something that I kind of underestimated a lot when playing this game before I started watching like actual good players play this game. You gotta roll a lot. Usually you want to try to roll all of the times when it only costs 1 gold, because I mean it obviously doubles to 2 after. I should really know the exact number, but I actually don't. Is it 5 rolls? I'm not sure. But yeah, you want to make use of those 5 rolls, and finding things on sale is obviously massively helpful, since, I mean, it could save you like 6 gold or something like that, even more per turn. So finding things on sale is really good. I think the game is in just a much better spot overall, where you're kind of building your build around what you find early. Maybe you find like an early like Thorn Whip or something, or you find something good on sale and you can build your build around that, or you get a certain amulet and you can build your build around that. Or if you do a random start, you can sometimes get some really interesting items. You can get like a corrupted crystal or like a stamina pots in your very first round, and then you can build like a Excalibur or something, and so you can build your build around that. So there's a lot of different variation, which is definitely missing in like the demo. The demo's fun, but when you just build the same one thing over and over, and that feels like the optimal strategy, it kind of kills the replayability of a game a little bit. But now the game is in a much better spot, where a lot of your builds are going to vary just from run to run. Plus there's a whole bunch of uniques in the game, although I would say a lot of the uniques are very like situational, so a lot of times you don't actually buy them unless you have like the perfect build for it. And some of them are just like straight up bad that you really don't see very often. But yeah, those can also be kind of fun to have some variation. And now I got the poison ivy, and also the stones. Just those are 1 gold, and you can place those around the ivy to gain the extra resist debuffs. And then there's the tusk piercer. So tusk piercer at the start of battle gives 4 spikes, and that is going to inflict 8 poison on the enemy just right away. So, and then you want to reach, I think it's 24 for the ivy, and then, no, it's 18. And then everything deals plus 25% damage, so that ends up being pretty good. There's the first stone skin. So, if I see a leather armor on sale, I will definitely buy that and try to use that to proc the potions. But otherwise, sometimes it's just nice to get 3 protective purses, and that will give you 45 block, and that just procs the stone skin right away. So that can also be helpful. Or maybe even just use some lump of coals and maybe have one that's a burning coal, and that gives 15 block as well, and that can act as one of the protective purses. Or if you get Bagtacular, then they give an extra 15 block and you only need 2. So that's kind of the way to proc the stone skin potions, and then you just hope to find as many as possible. And then if you can find any amulets, the amulet is steel is great because those give 1 empower per 40 block. And then if you can get the potion one, that's also amazing because that 70% chance to proc them twice. So you can kind of see like the amulets end up being super busted if you get like multiple of them, and make your build so much better. And then yeah, so a lot of damage through poison towards the end. You can get some demonic potions. I think the dark potions, those deal damage per debuff. And if you're really lucky, you can get the Reaper badge, and the Reaper badge plus Poison Ivy is super busted. It's helpful in the early game as well, because a lot of times you go for like kind of healing strats, and then inflicting a whole bunch of debuffs with like Blind, Cold, and Poison will kind of help you win those early rounds. And eventually you get the Reaper's, what is it, Death Scythe? I think that's the name of it, but it deals double poison damage, and then you have that over the leaf, and your poison damage obviously is doubled, and or even tripled. You get double sight, and then the poison is just absolutely insane, and you can get some like flawless wins towards the end if you get the Reaper badge. And yeah, so that's kind of the strats with Poison Ivy. I can go for another Tusk Piercer or like another Poison Spear, or a is it Beldanna's Shade, the poison plus the bow. That's another kind of good option to have like 3 weapons towards the end, and kind of using the stamina pot as well. The second skill I got was Girl Power, which has been nerfed a ton. It used to be like absolutely OP, but now is more of a balanced skill. It's still pretty decent, especially on turn 5. I would say on turn 10, it's not really that amazing, but yeah. And then got a Cap of Discomfort, which is always nice just to reduce that damage at the start, and also nullify healing and debuffs, because healing, I guess, can be kind of annoying with this build. And yeah, a lot of unranked teams, so you're going to see just a lot of random nonsense that sometimes will be actually pretty good. You never really know. Now, I'm really just rolling for more stone skins and amulets. I guess that's pretty much the main thing here. Just buy whatever's on sale. Maybe I could take some clovers. I usually try to get just 2 clovers to get the accuracy up to 100% on like, actually I think the spear has 85% accuracy, so 3 clovers gets it to 100%, and it just acts as a ivy nature item, I suppose. And then, yeah, move that out of the way, get the spear to remove as much block as possible. I could probably reposition slightly to like perfectly optimize to have the most amount of stars, but usually laziness comes into play, and it's like, will that 1 extra star really make the difference? I hope not. It hasn't so far. On sale spear. Okay, now if I actually do find another poison pots, poison, I keep calling them pot versus potions. I mean, it's like the same thing. Another fanny pack. not really too necessary at this point. The most damage I'm dealing is through poison, I think, and then poison spear is second, and poison spear is already max sped up, so don't really need any more fanny packs. And then sure, buy a pig. I mean, at worst, you could just sell it next round, and since it gives you the 1 gold back and it sells for 2, you pretty much just made your money back. So really, it's just giving 2 extra HP right now. That could totally make a difference. Like, you know, that 1 extra star will never make a difference, but that 2 extra HP always is going to make the difference. Another stone skin is perfect. Just want to find as many of those as possible. Oil lamp, I mean, I guess that can be helpful. Maybe that can activate the lump of coal, or light that up, or I guess it's maybe good for accuracy just in case you run into a blind build. I do have debuff resist, but I suppose that can't hurt, and claws of attack doesn't really need the speed buff anymore since I think it's the lowest damage dealing weapon. I could probably honestly even just sell it. I mean, it doesn't really cause too much stamina, so as long as I'm not stamming out, it's probably fine. I guess it can activate shields, and if you go against like a shielded build, it'd be kind of bad, but the main damage is still poison, so I suppose it wouldn't be that awful to stam out. I can see, okay, that one only had 31 poison. I actually had more poison on myself, but I didn't quite look at their build. I have it on 2 times speed. I figure that's probably decent for viewing. I get so impatient that usually I just leave it at 3 times speed, but sometimes it's just way too fast to really see what's going on. Another stam pot should be helpful, and I guess another corrupted crystal for another cap of discomfort would be okay. And I don't know, since I bought that stamina pot, I don't really need extra stamina now, so yeah, I can unlock that. And then I guess another clover would be good to activate the carrot to get to 4, just to give that 1 extra in power. Probably should have bought that, but that's fine. I mean, I guess I get one from the boots, but that has to be 70% health, so that didn't even proc at all. So yeah, that's I guess a small mistake. Okay, on sale. On sale space is always just so perfect. It feels like free gold. I mean, why wouldn't you take it? Unless if it's like turn 1. Sometimes I do fall for that bait on turn 1, where it's like since you have increased sale odds, I end up buying it. It's like, then you just end up kind of losing the first round because you spent it buying space instead of getting like a second weapon or something. An actual good build got Critwood Staff with Hero Sword and 2 hero containers, or what are those called? I don't actually know, but yeah, that's a pretty decent build. Usually I go for ILG, that's the most damage dealing, but I did actually lose that round, so there goes the perfect run. Unfortunate, but what are you gonna do? I can also use the poison pots, poison potion. I don't know why I switch between the two. I think it's because the streamer I watched, like Kaio, or I don't know how to say his name actually, but he's like a grandma in all 4. Grandma is the rank above Grandmaster. It's the highest rank you can get. But yeah, he's Grandma in all 4 classes, which is pretty insane. So learned a lot from watching him. I guess why not get a heart container? It does actually activate, and that will give some extra health and empower. And there we go. So a pretty decent build. Nothing too crazy. I only had 1 amulet of steel, so it wasn't like the most broken build. It definitely could have gotten better, obviously with Reaper badge, or just a whole bunch more amulets that actually synergize. But now I'll actually go through the run that got me into Grandmaster, because I thought this would be kind of interesting. I was at 90, got plus 11, so it was a pretty good run. Started off not actually a very good start, because I just had a bunch of food and a broom, and then I got an early health pot, so early strong health pot will definitely help, and then I got early tusk piercer, so that would be pretty good early damage. And then I got an early mana orb, so I was able to get Magistaff with mana mastery, so that was pretty lucky. And then that was probably on sale stamina pot, otherwise I wouldn't buy it this early, because I'm not stamming out at this point. But I guess just setting up for the late game, if I can get an ILG, and then actually got a Ruby Egg, which I do not normally buy, but I guess it was on sale. And then the Critwood Staff, so there we go, getting the Acorn Collar, and that is just, you're bursting people out, killing them super quickly. And then got the Heart Container, so that's perfect. Now I usually try to go for, okay, well there's the ILG, that's very nice. And then the Stamina. Actually got the stamina, trying to get to 5 in power to activate the extra like cooldown and stamina reduction is pretty important, so trying to go for that. Usually go for like, so I mean you got the stamina pots, but the heart containers give 2. If you can get the corrupted one, it gives 4, and then you can also get like a mana potion to activate a stamina pot, that would give 1 to get to 5, something like that. But yeah, pretty good run. There you can see the what was it, Thorn Whip plus Stamina Pot, and then there, the very interesting run, got a Steel Amulet plus a ton of Stone Skins, and then I just went for an ILG, even though I had Ivy. I was like, well, I have so much in power that I guess I'll just take it. But yeah, that's the run. Backpack Battles is a great game, would recommend it, and thanks for watching. See ya.